You're on.
Hello, I'm Dr. Bittiker. I'm back to do another pause here. This time we're going to be doing a pause called the thymopause. Thymus gland. This gland sits right here in the neck area, right underneath your thyroid. It's the gland that it's much more active as you're younger, and becomes less active as you get older. That's the thymopause. What does it do? Well, it pretty much controls a big part of your immune system, how your body's going to react to the exposure to bacteria or viruses or to fungi or to any toxins, about how your body's going to react to it is what it controls. And the way it does this is by manufacturing certain types of immune factors, such as what are called T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. Some of those come out of the bone marrow. Some of them were created by the thymus gland. They work in conjunction because the thymus gland signals the bone marrow to secrete these cells, and even your spleen is involved, and it generally controls the whole immune system. As you get older, this thymus gland begins to shrink, and that's why as people get older, they become more prone to infections and also to cancer. For instance, the T4 helper cells work to orchestrate the immune response by activating other immune cells, particularly the antibodies and the B cells. The T8 or cytotoxic killer cells, these are activated, and they have a lot to do with killing the cancer cells. So if your thymus gland shrinks as you get older, that's why older people get more cancer. One of the reasons why they do is because the thymus gland is not secreting the type of antibodies and cells that would kill the cancer cells. And those T8 suppressor cells that suppress killer cells by signaling the termination of the attack. In other words, there's a time for your macrophages or any type of a cell that attacks a bacteria, virus, or cancer cell to attack and then to stop attacking. By the way, one of the ways that your body utilizes actually chemical warfare to kill certain germs is by the way the cells track them down, like macrophages. If you've ever looked at them under a microscope, they look like little octopuses as they crawl around. They're all throughout your system. You have billions of them in there. And they basically will sense a bacteria or virus. They're like a bloodhound. They use a thing called chemotaxis. They actually are attracted by the smell of a germ, and they move towards it, they engulf it, and then they actually penetrate it with these little tendrils. And guess what's in there? Well, it's actually a type of bleach. And guess what the body makes the bleach out of, or the peroxide out of? Guess how it makes it? It makes it out of vitamin C. That's why you need lots of vitamin C. So vitamin C potentiates your body against for immunity's sake. Now, one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up now is because I've heard some disturbing news. One is a common thing. We're in the flu season, cold season, so you're seeing a lot of that. Now, one of the things that people don't understand about so-called epidemics is that you hear about the people that get sick in an epidemic, but you don't hear about the people that don't get sick because, well, that's not much news there. But remember this. If you're say you're living through a flu epidemic or a cold epidemic, not everybody gets the flu. In fact, only it's apparently a new virulent strain. So hope that thing doesn't move off the island or going any place else. And I hope it ends there very quickly for those poor people suffering from that. Also in Uganda, there's been a flare-up of what's called the Marburg virus, which is kind of a cousin of the Ebola. This thing runs at like a 90% fatality rate. So now, I'm not trying to tell you that to scare you. These diseases have been around forever, and they're going to be around forever. And the point is that there's many more people get exposed to even the Marburg virus than get it. You don't hear about the people that walk right next to the guy who got the Marburg virus and died from it, and they were exposed to it. They breathed that virus into their body, into their lungs, and never got the disease. Why? Because they had an intact immune system. That's the key here. You see, if your immune system is working correctly, you can't get sick. Because I guarantee you that you walk outside, you walk in my office, you go any place, you take a breath of air, you're breathing in germs. Any one of those germs could cause a disease, but your body senses it and immediately does whatever it has to do with the antibodies or white blood cells, kills that germ, deactivates it, makes it harmless, and you don't even know you're exposed to that germ. Your body does this all the time. It's been doing it your entire life. Also, your body creates cancer cells. You were born with cancer cells in your body, but your body has a system governed by the thymus gland that kills all the cancer cells. When that breaks down, then things start to go wrong. You can get cancer, you can get infections, you can get other problems. So I'm going to show you some things you can do here to enhance your body's ability to improve your immune system so that this stuff doesn't happen to you. You don't have to worry about these things because you're going to get exposed to germs that can do some major harm to you. So the trick is to stay in good shape in the first place. Okay, number one thing. Did you know that regular chiropractic adjustments, it's been shown in some really big studies, the people that get regular chiropractic care, by that I mean once every couple of months or something like that, a tune-up chiropractic adjustment, have much lower incidences of infection? It's true, backed up by studies. Go to the ACA, American Chiropractic Association's website. You can see the research right there, and it's big studies. Okay, number two. You ever wonder why a lot of times we have colds and flus around the holidays? You think it's just cold weather? Well, it's Florida. We don't get cold down here. But we have a flu season and cold season down here too. You wonder why? Well, one of the reasons is this. One of the best ways to incapacitate your immune system, particularly your white blood cells, is to just feed you sugar. Did you know that? There have been studies done where they actually measure the motility of a macrophage, or a white blood cell, its ability to move across so many millimeters of space in a certain period of time to go after a germ and run it down and engulf it. If you put sugar into somebody's body, raise the glucose level in the blood plasma, and also raise the triglyceride levels, because that drives up the blood. Taking sugar into your body or carbohydrates in your body in the form of starch raises your triglyceride levels. It, in effect, paralyzes your white blood cells. They literally can't move because the sugar is toxic to them, and also the elevated blood fat levels are toxic, or inhibitory, I'll say this, to the thymus gland. So that's why if you eat a junk food diet with a lot of sugar and starches in it, your immune system is going to go down. You're going to be more prone to infection. So you need to go on a lower carbohydrate diet. In fact, we recommend a website for you called the Primal Palate, Primal, Palate, Palete. I think that's how you spell it. Something like that. You get close. You can enroll with that. It's a free network. Yes, they are going to try and sell you some herbs and spices, but you can use their menus there to create a diet for you. It's low carbohydrate. Very tasty, I might add. So when people complain about, well, you know, the low carbohydrate diets or the ketogenic diets or the whatever, they're tasteless, you haven't looked at the recipes. They're actually you can eat like a king here, and yet still keep your carbs very low and keep your immune system intact. I might add that what I call the paleo diet or the primal diet, if you have any autoimmune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis, Jordan's syndrome, disease, adult onset diabetes, regular arthritis, psoriasis, any of those things, I guarantee you that you go on a paleo diet, it may not cure it, but you're going to get a lot better. It's just because you're going to be eliminating a lot of the foods that are causing these reactions. And when you go to the website, you'll see some of the research on why the lectins that are in foods can impede your immune system. You're going to see why the other components in there, the gluten, can impede your immune system. I've had this happen with people that got chronic nasal sinus infections. Go on the paleo diet, clears up. They never get another nasal infection until Christmas comes around. They break their diet, polish off a couple pumpkin pies and some other stuff, and the next day they got a sinus infection again. I've literally seen that happen with people. So your immune system is very dependent on the food that you consume and what you eat. Now, let me tell you some other things that you can do that have a profound effect, particularly if you had something that has depleted your immune system, you've been sick recently, you've undergone chemotherapy or radiation therapy for cancer or something like that, and naturally your immune system is going to be depressed because those things are very stressful. Well, here's something that will dramatically revive the immune system. And it's a thing called ProBoost. It's thymic protein A. Extracted this from animal tissue in the beginning, thymic protein A. Now it's made by a fermentation process, so don't worry, no animal died for this, but it's made that way. And he found out that it had some dramatic abilities in stimulating the immune system. Okay, I'll give you some examples here in the research that I ran across. Here's a study done by the Vitamin Research News and the effect of the thymic protein A on stimulating the immune system for the common cold. Here's one. This is a research done by the Townsend newsletter for doctors and patients. Here's a study. They actually chronically elevated, these are patients that had Epstein-Barr virus infections and measured the antibodies. They were treated with thymic protein A for 60 days. The treatment resulted in statistically significant reduction of the Epstein-Barr virus, which is a very tough thing to bring down in people. That can, mortality factors, that was improved rather dramatically. So this is something that it's also my chronic fatigue patients. Here's a study done with the Journal of Nutritional and Environmental Medicine, 2001. Again, the study here showed that it had that 16 of 23 patients were dramatically helped with chronic fatigue just by taking the thymic protein A. You combine this with a good diet, be much better. It's called Pro Boost, the brand name. This is what we give. It's a little packet. You tear up the packet. Tastes like, it's got a little maltodextrin. Pour it on the tongue, let it soak in there. It goes in through the buccal system, into the mouth. It absorbs quite nicely and it doesn't taste bad. We usually use one of these packets a day to revive somebody's immune system, or in case of you have a weakened immune system, you want to pep it up a little bit. This works really very well. Also, you can go to Linus, well actually Pauling Therapy, Pauling T-A-T-R-A-P-Y, paulingtherapy.com. That's the website that was originally started by Linus Pauling, the guy that won the Nobel Prize 2 times. He did all this research on vitamin C. They mentioned some of Klenner's research and some other doctors that used high dosages of vitamin C. Literally, high dosages that you can read the history, you can Google it up on the internet if you want to. High dose vitamin C, IV drip, but now with the new liposomal C, you get the same amount by mouth. It's been shown to reverse, they even treated polio with IV drips of vitamin C. So it's very potent stuff there. Also, in Europe, with these